Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome back to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. This is Daniel Martinez Stahl. We are going into episode 2 of season 6, and we have Susan Kennard with us. She was with us a couple seasons ago. Really excited to have a conversation with her again. Her comment was, "Oh my God, this was like yesterday that we just did this." so it's great to have her back. And so, as always, Susan, feel free to talk about who you are. And I did mute you momentarily, so make sure that you unmute yourself before coming back in. But just let us know who you are, and then we can kind of go from there.
Sure. So thank you, Daniel, again for inviting me. And I think the timelines are shifting so quickly. There is no time, and so things just seem like yesterday. But essentially, I'm a spiritual scientist. That means I incorporate the science and the spiritual. So my background is very much in the scientific arts of psychology, psychotherapy, neuropsychology, naturopathy, you name it. And then on the other side of it, and we could call it on the twist of it, the flip side of it, I'm a channel for spirit. I've been a medium for over 25 years. I teach it, I live it, I breathe it, and I embody it. And I walk my talk. So I blend the science and the spiritual. I help people to heal their trauma. I help people to align more fundamentally to why they're truly here in this world, and to realize that they really can create a free life. And I think that it is all about having that, knowing that spirit is by your side and that you're not doing this on your own. I think that's the key thing about the work that I do, is to help people remember who they are and to realize that they are so much more than this physical body, that we are an integrated, beautiful being of light. Yeah,
it's a beautiful reminder, and I talk a lot about understanding who we are as both human and spirit, and the symbiotic relationship between the two. I think that it's really important to develop an understanding of what it means to be both and what it means to be the collective.
Yeah, the unified light of consciousness, which we all are, but we've chosen to have this physical vehicle. And so we can't sort of opt out of that physical vehicle while we're here. We have to be in it. We have to journey with it. And our soul is always talking to us. And that, to me, is the key thing, is to literally embody the soul's journey. Be the human, but be the soul, and be both together, which is kind of what you're saying, to actually embrace both. And it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be here.
It is. It's an amazing time to be here. The other day, someone was talking about how those of us that are alive at this point in time, whether we're aware of it or not, chose to be here exactly at this time because of the transition from the old into the new. And, we've talked about this in previous seasons, and, anybody that's within this conversation of expanding our understanding of who we are is coming across an understanding that our planet is evolving into a different form of herself, and we are going along with that. And so it's an exciting time to be in. A lot of exploration, a lot of new challenges, a lot of new experiences, and amazing opportunities that are available to us. They've always been available to us, but in the past it required a lot of effort and dedication and commitment and focus. And now the opportunities are more on the surface of experience, and so it's easier for us to tap into them.
And I think that some of that is about the fact that we're not really manifesting, we're just becoming that frequency match to those opportunities, rather than thinking perhaps, years ago, timelines ago, we would want to create something, we would want to manifest it. Actually, we're now that frequency match to that heart's desire or to that thought that we had then. And I really feel that's about freedom and about coming into this new earth. And of course, when I look at it clairvoyantly, I can see like a very small grey old paradigm and an absolutely incredible with no ends. Like I used to see it like a ball of light. Now I don't see it like a ball of light. I see the new earth of our frequency without ends. There isn't even a ball. It's just like that's the new earth, and that's where I feel we are truly in. And occasionally one foot goes on and taps onto the old paradigm of the old earth, but then comes off again very quickly. Whereas I think some people, and it's perfect wherever you are, some people feel that their foot is firmly on that, perhaps the fear paradigm, or the guilt or the shame or whatever it might be that we might have felt before, that we might have brought in with us. And it's not really there. It's just false evidence appearing real. And so when we can remember who we are to a point of embodying that and really understanding that we are spirit, divine within, and we are within without that divine being, then we're much more in this new paradigm, more than we ever could imagine now. And it is exciting, and as I said earlier, the portal that opened and that is opening right now is something that was all planned. We were all meant to be here, as you said, Daniel, and this time is a time of great expansion, and we were meant to be here. And it is for us, without judgment, for wherever anybody is in their journey and wherever anyone might be in their life. There's no judgment, but just holding the space for them to be the best that they can be. And I think one of the ways to do that is to remember that you're not on your own, that you have your guides by your side and spirit walking with you, which really is a blend of you, but spirit working with you.
You bring up a really good point that reminds me of something a friend of mine shared, which is the idea of a shadow worker. Because a lot of us talk about, and within the conversations of the different spaces that you and I play in, the idea of a light worker comes up a lot. And the other day somebody shared something with me that was really cool to look at, which was a shadow worker. And the way that they described it is that these are people that are choosing to engage in the more dense energies on purpose, and the strength that they require in order to play at that space is incredible.
Yeah.
And then they will reach their awakening or their experience or their, wisdom through that shadow work. And so, many of us that are in this community are looking to expand our awareness, to go into the light, to explore the idea of fifth dimensional living, however you want to describe it. But there are those of us that have consciously and even unconsciously chosen to really focus their experience in developing this aspect of the shadow world, the darker energies, the more dense energies, the, again, whatever phrase people align with. And it's a really nice invitation to not judge someone else's path and to just be okay exactly where you are and exactly where they are. They're doing the work too, even if they're not doing it the way we are.
And, to add to that is really, I see it as, in a way, maybe they're more evolved than we are. That they've chosen that path, which, let me tell you, is not an easy one. And so, maybe they're just a bit more evolved, than we are being light workers. They're like when we pass over together and we all go, hey, That was a ride, wasn't it? Yeah, and you chose to be dark. How did you do that? Like we had it easy, We had it easy on the Earth plane. You had it really hard. And they're like, yeah, well, we've done it before. But that kind of thing. And if you can look at it that way, especially, what's happened over the last couple of years now, 3 years, if unless you've been in a coma, that the world has expanded and changed, and people have gone within, people have gone without, and many people have chosen not to be here at this time. Their frequency has not matched the light coming in, and they've chosen to be in a different experience, and I believe more of that will possibly be coming. And as that happens, I think we need to be closer to the knowing that we're not on our own. The closer to the knowing that whatever happens, even if someone leaves our life, maybe friendships change, colleagues change, whatever it might be, relationships change, or someone chooses to pass over and it's their time, just to know that we are not on our own, and that person, that soul, is just literally a moment, not even a moment, a millisecond away from you, and there at all times. I think that's really important.
It's a really nice reminder. It's a really nice reminder.
Mm.
There's a lot of energy that is always surrounding us and supporting us, regardless of where we are, regardless of whether or not we feel it, regardless of whether or not we're aware of it. And it's really cool to kind of invite that in, to be aware of it consciously. In the previous session, we were talking about how we're all channeling. Every single one of us channels. We just don't, a lot of people just don't use that language, don't use that description, but every single one of us channels. It's in our structure to channel. We're constantly communicating with energies that are around. We're constantly in communication with our surrounding, our animals, our plants, our loved ones, our deceased ones, our guides,
the sea, the plants,
and any, all kinds of beings that we can't see are around us and interacting with us constantly as well. So it's a lot of fun to start kind of playing in the space. The more conscious we are, the more we can develop the skill to connect more consciously and more actively, because we're already connected. This idea that you need to learn how to connect, you're already connected. You can't not be connected. So there's nothing that you need to do to connect, but we can learn to develop that awareness of connection, so that connection feels more alive and feels stronger within our experience. And that's a lot of fun to play with.
It's exciting. Yeah, absolutely. And as you're talking, I can kind of see the energy and how that is also for those guides that work with us, because all they want is for us to remember, so that we can have such fun together, and know that they're by our side and travel with us and find us parking spaces and align us to the next person that we need to meet and align us to the next situation in our life. Because I'm very grounded. I'm like a barefoot medium. I'm very much this is how it is in this world, and I think it's good to be like that. And then it's more realistic for us as humans. We can go, wow, that's really fun. It doesn't have to be too serious. I think working with our guides, working with spirit, channeling in the sense of, oh, where did those words come from? You're speaking to your friend, or you're speaking to your family, or even if it's a client, and oh, those words just came straight through me. And sometimes you don't even know where they're coming from, but you know that they're coming from the heart. Yeah. And that is that sense of your beautiful guide standing with you. And having fun.
Having fun is very important. And you just reminded me that last night, as I was driving back from the supermarket, I thought of my plant. And instantly I thought, oh, I need to water you.
It's telling you. It's telling you, right?
And I just remembered that I needed to water her. And so as we're speaking, I am giving her my water because I know that I'm going to forget later, given everything that's going on
They
right now in my day.
literally scream at you. I mean, they literally do. Like if you walk past them, I'm growing tomatoes at the moment outside, and which let me tell you is a feat in the UK. So anyway, we've got these tomatoes, and I can when we went away and I came back and I'm like, wow, look at you! You've like produced so many beautiful tomatoes, and now they're all turning red, and it's like wow. And I talk to them, and my kids are like, Mum, you're talking to the tomatoes, and I'm like, yeah. So they can really feel you. They can really feel you. And when you go into an altered state, into meditation, you can actually see the energy around plants. You can see the vibration and the aura around plants and feel what they're trying to say to you as well. We should all just have a test and try it, in our lives and just kind of connect. What's the plant trying to tell me?
So I talk a lot about my gemstones, and when I was learning to connect, again using language which is inaccurate, but learning to become more aware of that connection.
I need to remember your connection.
I would be going into a spiritual journey. I was going to facilitate a spiritual journey, and all of a sudden, as I'm walking by my stones, I would think, oh, I should grab this, and I should grab this, and I should grab this. And then I started thinking, well, isn't that interesting that it occurred to me to grab those stones at this point in time? And then I noticed that the next session that I facilitated, the stones were different. And I was like, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And exactly to your point, is I started asking, I started questioning and recognizing and saying, oh, okay, so this is information that's coming to me. And it isn't just my human thought thinking, oh, I should grab this and I should grab this and I should grab this.
Yeah.
And we're so easy to dismiss these things as, oh, it's just my personal thinking, because it comes in from our personal thinking.
It's seen, like people talk about a coincidence. Oh, it was a coincidence that I picked up the Lemurian starseed crystal. It was a coincidence that it was the rose quartz or whatever. But actually, it's never a coincidence. And actually, there aren't any coincidences. There's just beautiful synchronicities, isn't there, in our lives?
It is. It's beautiful. And so I think that what we're talking about is, for those that are listening, is, just allow yourself to become a little bit more conscious of the connection you already have, and start to bring more awareness around it. And then you can start to really focus on playing with it and experimenting with it and expanding it. And really leaning into it, which is what I'm working on, because, I don't see auras of my plant, but I would love to. I'm really excited to get to a point within my own journey where I can see the energy of the plants or the animals or the birds that come to visit me. And, and for those of you that have never joined me before, I look out the window because I've got bushes out the window and the birds come to fly through the bushes. And so I'm not ignoring Susan as I look out and get distracted by the birds. I'm connecting with the energy of the birds.
So cute that they do that. Yeah, I often see a seagull fly by. That's about what we get here. In fact, one just flew. How amazing is that? Yeah. And in the daytime, I might see
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Just flew over there. Because we're right by the sea here, so we see a lot of seagulls. And those of you that know me, and perhaps in my soul family, when I have the window open, quite often in the background you'll hear seagulls. So that tends to be what we have here.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful.
We are going to do I feel drawn at some point during this time to actually take people through a connection to actually feeling the guides coming in and coming out, maybe a beautiful message from your guides for you. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for people, and it opens the door for the playing and the feeling that you actually have the control to invite spirit in or to ask spirit to stand out. And definitely in professional mediumship, one of the things I teach is to know that you are actually the one that can ask spirit to step out. So if you feel the energy coming in too strong and you feel the emotions of someone, or you can feel what they pass with or whatever it might be, then you can just say, can you just step out of my energy? And I think that's something that doesn't get taught. that people feel that they are in control of the experience with their guides, rather than the feeling that I'm scared that my guides will just walk straight in to my energy. Do you know what I mean? Which they never do, but there is the fear that they might do that. So one of the things I quite like to do with people is to perhaps develop a little bit more of a relationship with the signature of your guide or your guides, and yeah, perhaps have fun and just hear a little message for us individually. That might be quite fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be amazing. And one thing that I'll add to this is the spirit world is here to work in whatever ground rules we want to play within. And so if I'm feeling a lot of energy, I can always say, do me a favor, can you just back up a little bit? Not necessarily go away, but you can just ask them to soften their
Absolutely.
energy a little bit. If you
Yeah.
have a connection, for example, one of the things that I'm learning is I've got a strong connection with one being. That being can also play as a mediary. So you can invite beings that you're familiar with or that you align with.
Yeah.
You know, some people really align with Yeshua, and so you can always say, hey, Yeshua, you know, can you come join this and help my body feel more at ease? Michael is called on by anybody and everybody for all kinds of things, poor guy.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, all the archangels are also there to assist us and help us. And you know, if you align with one of the archangels, you can always ask them to come in to help soften the energy in a way so that your body can align with it more easily. So there's different ways
Absolutely.
in which you can play with this.
And also, you know, what's coming to me as well is that, you know, those of you that work with clients and, you know, maybe have a practice, you might feel sometimes that when spirit comes in close, that you start to feel maybe something in your throat, or you feel a headache, or you feel an energy down your arm. And if that's uncomfortable, it's probably because what you're working with somebody else is maybe some resistance in their energy and you're matching it. So what you can do is you can say thank you so much for that, and just ask them to step out, exactly what Daniel said. But you've actually been given that piece of information in your physical body. Sometimes people do feel that, you know, they actually will feel somebody else's resistance in their throat or a headache or so on. So it's really important to kind of understand that there's nothing wrong. It's just that the guides are coming in or the loved ones are coming in, and to show you that that is the feeling they want to give you so that you take notice of it. It's quite, you know, there's lots and lots of layers of working with spirit, as you know, Daniel, but there's just a few little tidbits.
Yeah, and it's a really good point because, you know, for anybody that's interested in playing with spirit at any level, they begin to share information with you, and exactly what Susan's talking about. Sometimes that information is for me, and sometimes that information is for me to relay to Susan. And there is a shift in the vibrational signature of that message that I'm learning to pick up on. It's like, oh, this is not for me.
Yeah.
This is,
Or you can just say, is this mine or is this theirs? You literally can chat to them like you're picking up a telephone and just say, oh, thank you. Is that for me or is that for them? And so you can just ask.
and you can also be open with the person that you work with and say, hey, you know, I'm
Yeah.
getting this weird feeling in my body. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but maybe it resonates with you. I'm
Yeah.
getting this like tingling in or this kind of, you know, buzzing sensation in my left leg. Does that resonate with you in any way? And so you can use that as a conversation
Yeah. And
builder
then
as well.
another really good tip as well is, you know, if you're with someone, or you want to give a reading, or you're, you know, whatever situation you're in, and you can feel that, you can say, as I'm connecting and feeling into this energy, it makes me kind of feel this. And it might be that it makes you feel tense, or it makes you feel sad, or it makes you feel excited, or it makes you feel, you know, something. And as you're opening the channel by saying, as I connect with this energy, you've opened the channel for the guides to give you the words for the person you're working with. Yeah, sort of a bit like a recipe. And you said, right, okay, I can feel this. Thanks for that. Okay, as I'm connecting with this feeling, I feel my heart is opening, or I feel energy in my stomach. And just as you said, Daniel, Does that make sense to you? I've got this feeling I'm being drawn to my solar plexus. I'm being drawn to my digestive system. Yeah. Yeah.
So for people that are listening to us live, if you have questions, if you have
Mm.
comments, feel free. This isn't just Susan and I chatting together.
Yeah.
This is you guys as well. So feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask a question or if you want to interact. So Susan, let me know whenever it feels right for you to go into that journey that you described.
Let's do that, and then let's do that. Just see where the guides go with it. Let's do that, and then afterwards we can take some questions around that process, so people can say what they experienced, or if they didn't experience anything, or something like that. Should we? I mean, it's possible some healing will come in, so I'll just go with what they want to give. But
beautiful.
If everyone's open to just going wherever the guides take us, then let's do this. Okay. So, somebody's a new conversation. So Camille's saying it's a new conversation. So that's great. So Camille, just be open-hearted, ready for whatever you experience, and we're going to create a safe space. So I always create a safe space and a sacred space before we start to work. Okay. So place your hands on your heart and breathe in through your nose for 5 and breathe out for 5. So you're connecting in with your breath. Close your eyes if you would like to. And we're just going to drop into our heart with that breath. Creator, all that is, it is commanded that you create a sacred space for us all. And allow in the beautiful beings to support us. The guides, the angels, the ascended masters. Everyone that comes from a place of purity to assist us on our mission, to assist us in this time that we have together, in this now moment or in the replay. And just come in to support us, to create this divine healing space where we may connect more deeply with the remembering of who we are and the knowing that we chose to walk this plane of existence, remembering we're never on our own. So just take a really deep breath, and I want you to send that beautiful energy, and let's imagine a golden ball of light in our heart, and send that ball of light down to your feet. Just normal breath, just normal breathing in and out now. And connect with your earth star under your feet. Now those of you that are clairvoyant may see the color of your earth star, but don't worry if you can't. Just know that your earth star is there, grounding you into Mother Earth, into Gaia, and into this beautiful new frequency of the golden earth. And just imagine those silver cords coming down from each one of your feet if you need a little bit more assistance in pulling yourself down to be grounded and anchored in Mother Earth. And then take a deep breath. Good. And then draw your attention once again up to your heart and to that beautiful ball of light. And the guides are giving me a lighter platinum ball now. So bring that ball of light through your breath up to the crown of your head. And just settle for a moment in the crown of your head, and you may be able to feel the opening and the tingling of expansion. Good. And let's draw our attention even higher to above our head to our soul star. This is a soul star that connects us to all that is, to the unified light of consciousness that we are. And just connect in with that soul star as you remember that you are creator, that you are source, that you are this divine being of light having a human experience. And just bring that light all the way through. And you might like to imagine it going through the center core of you, aligning you. Fantastic. Okay, so knowing that we are in a sacred space, we're now ready to invite in our guides. So let's invite in, and we're going to ask for our council of light to step in around us. And there's a lot of excitement with this, I can feel. So as we invite our council of light, and you do not need to know who they are at this point in time, and just invite them to step into your energy field. Okay, those of you who know and you've worked with your guides a lot will recognize the signature, and those of you that haven't might get to sense the signature. So we invite them to step in around us. Good. And then we're going to invite them to step out. So just invite your council of light to step out. And you may get a sense, as I am, that I'm kind of moving backwards in my chair. And you may not feel anything, which is perfectly fine. And then invite your guides to step in again. And this time invite them to step in a little bit closer. Good. Invite them to step in closer. And now get a sense, did you notice that you could feel an energy, whether it was just a warmth or a light or even a feeling? Just get a sense of maybe there was a slight difference. And now we're going to invite them to step out again. And get them to step out really far. So just say, can you really step out of my field? Because what the guides do is they blend with our energy. So they come in and they blend their beautiful frequency with our beautiful frequency. So there is that beautiful symbiotic relationship, as Daniel said earlier. Good. I'll feel how it feels with them stepped out. And now I invite them to step in again and ask them to show you their signature. Good. And you may get to feel this sense of just a feeling that you have, that someone has your back, that you feel that sense of warmth around you. You may get spirit tears, as I'm starting to get, without emotion, but just spirit tears, as pure love is with you and reminding you that you are pure love. And then let's just come, our guides are with us, so let's just come back into our heart with our hands. Place your hands on your heart. And I want you just to ask a very simple question in your heart. And that is, what do I need to know? And then just listen. And then come back to me, knowing that your guides are still very much with you, they're around you, and they're going to be present with you. There's no need for us to invite them out. They're just very much with you, and they're very excited to be working with you because they just want to assist you on your path. They really want you to ask for help, and they really want you to ask questions. And so let's come back. Oh my goodness, my eyes are crying, even though I'm not crying. This does happen when spirit come in, because they come in with such a powerful frequency of love that it just fills you. So anybody else felt that? Anybody felt that feeling of spirit tears, I call them? So let me know in the chat, and for Daniel, let me know any questions about that. What did you experience? Did you experience a signature of your guides? Did you get a message? What do I need to know? I have a journal of insight that I created with the guides to go with my book, but also to stand alone with Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, my book. And it's an opportunity to work with your guides. So to really sit on a daily basis or a monthly, whenever you want to, and just sit with your guides and journal the messages. And it's an opportunity to deepen your connection with your guides for your journey in your life. Daniel, is it all right for me to show I've got it here. Is it all right for me to show that on your?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'll just show you, because you see it here, it's called, oops, Awaken the Light. Well, let's try and get it. You know what it's like with these things. Can we see it? There we go. You got it? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard with the background.
Anyway, it's called Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, goes with the book. Journal of Insight. And it's channeled. So there's a channel piece in it, so that as you sit with the book, you sit, and it's got lots of blank pages, but it's also got channeling energy, so it's encoded, and that's how the guides actually created it. And this is my book, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart. You can see that. Many of you have got that. And there's lots of channeling throughout that book and lots of healing processes. And I was very honoured to win the Hay House Writers Competition a couple of years ago, and my book came out last October, so you can get it on Amazon. But it's you know, a beautiful opportunity to sit with the healing codes of the guides and actually do the processes that the guides have created for us so that we can heal. Yeah. Beautiful. So let me have a look.
So there's some comments that have been coming in.
Yeah. Oh, Corinne Levy has the tears too. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Oh, beautiful. So Julie's saying, thank you so much. I felt more deeply than I have ever. That's amazing. Kitty got a clear message. Share it with me later, Kitty. Oh, see, Camille, she's new to this. Am I right, Camille? Yeah, Camille said she was new to it. Daniel, she new to your community?
He was new to the conversation we were having earlier today.
Oh, new to the conversation. Yeah. So she felt spirit, which is great if you see what she's written. Yeah. So she felt spirit move closer, which is great. Pagati is in my soul family and my membership. So she's saying I was told things. Wow. She's been given a really specific message. Julie got a special message. You see, we just have to sit with our guides, you know, and as I said in the title of this talk with you, Daniel, it's like with the guides literally by our side, you know, we have that within our heart. So yeah, so Sally Jeffries, a message, Emma. See, everyone's got energy shifting at this time, and there's so much energy shifting with people, but just feeling that your friends are with you, you know, it's just like having a little chat conversation when you start to really develop that relationship. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I'll add to this, and Susan has mentioned this phrase a couple of times, is feeling the signature, the vibration of your guides. She asked us to feel the vibration of our council. That's a collective. I have collectives channel through me all the time. I don't know the individuals, but I can feel that it's a collective of energies.
Yeah.
But there's an element within the energy that we can start paying attention to, where we can start to identify that. We can start to identify the frequency, the feeling of the vibration of the guides that are speaking with us. Have it be the council, have it be our primary guide, have it be a senior guide, have it be an angel, you know, so we can start identifying them through that energy.
Yeah, that's really fun. But sometimes, you know, people always want to know the names of their guides, and you know, I can see I have a lot of different guides that step in and step out, and different beings will come and work with me. But a lot of the time, what we get a sense of is just light or an energy. And when you start to know that frequency matches something you recognize, then you know that these are your guides coming in, and you kind of don't even really need to know who they are. You just need to feel that energy of that warmth and that love and that feeling, wow, I'm at home, you know, and that really helps us.
So you mentioned this idea of naming guides.
Well, you know,
And so
we're human. We like to know.
I know I want to add a little bit to this because, again, it comes up a lot because we want to have conversations and we want to be able to refer to beings
Hmm.
with some reference of some sort. Just makes it
Hmm.
easier for us to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, when I was in a in between lives session where I met my higher self and we asked my higher self for a name that we could use to refer to them, they started with some name that I can't remember, and then they changed it and said, "No, call me Andromeda." And I
Okay.
instantly got the image of an actress from the TV show Andromeda. And so the reason that the name changed is because I would have forgotten the other name, but
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget Andromeda because they gave me at the same time this reference of my human understands
Yeah.
the show, loves
Yeah.
the actress, and so I've got this image of the actress as a reminder of, oh, my higher self calls herself Andromeda. And again, I'm using the aspect of her simply
Hmm.
because of the name. My higher
Yeah.
self isn't, and there's no
You
him or
remember
her,
it.
but
Hmm.
Andromeda presented herself as a female again because of the way that I would remember that name.
Hmm.
And I also talk about, again, before I even got into this, I forget who I heard or what book I read. There was
Hmm.
a comment that really resonated with me, which is that guides will present themselves to us in different ways depending on what we need. And it can be the same guide, and we can start to identify them from their frequency, from their vibration, not the way they
Exactly.
present themselves. And so if
Exactly.
you have, Wile E. Coyote one day and then you have Bugs Bunny the next, that can still be the same guide, even if they're presenting themselves as differently. And you can start to identify them from the vibration.
And Melchizedek, for example, the overseer of the universe, he comes in a lot with light codes and activations. And when he's coming in, so say in a private session, I do an ascension session or something, he will come in and he'll show himself and he will be in his white with gold and he'll have his book of codes out. And I know then that the person that I'm working with is about to receive a really high frequency activation for their mission. And then sometimes he'll come in and it'll just be kind of on the periphery, and I'll see him and he won't be in those golden white robes. He will be there to do something else with a group. Yeah, so they present themselves depending on what they need you to associate them with. But I do just want to say that if you don't see your guides and you don't hear your guides, so that's clairvoyant, clairaudience, you probably will feel them. Okay, and you'll get a sense of that feeling, and it's not right or wrong whether you are someone who's clairvoyant and know someone else isn't and you are, or someone's clairaudient and you're not. There is quite a lot of because when I trained as a medium, and I was very blessed to be trained by the best places, in the College of Psychic Studies in London and Kensington. And let me tell you, I only went there to try and disprove it, right? Because I was a scientist, I was a psychologist, I was a, psychotherapist working in child protection. And I had my awakening, that's in my book and all over. But essentially, I was like, no, surely this isn't so, But actually, by going to the College of Psychic Studies and doing the courses and actually opening up my abilities, I could not question it anymore. So I think if I hadn't been given clairvoyance and clairaudience and so on, I would never have gone down that road. So that's what I chose. My soul chose that because I'm the real evidence girl. So my soul chose, like, okay, you're gonna do this, but you're gonna need evidence to go on that path, right? But if you're here and it's the first time you're opening up to your channel and your guides and so on, know that you didn't need that. You might just be feeling the energy and in trust of those guides coming through to support you in your journey, but to support others. And it doesn't mean that anyone is better than you. You are unique in the sense of what you've brought in. And when I teach mediumship and I teach channeling and so on, it's so important to remember that no, there's no competition, that someone might have a better gift than you. You're bringing in your unique, special gifts, and you just have to get out of the way of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just put a little specifier on this. When I say I feel something, I don't actually feel it. It's more of a knowing. And I'm using
Yes.
language of feeling, or I hear my guides. I don't actually physically hear them.
Thank you for that. That's
So,
really important. Yeah.
the language that we use, the language that I use when I communicate with my team, I'll say that I don't communicate with them at all because they don't communicate with me, but they do. And it's through my knowing, which is really difficult to identify for me. And it's a lot of opening myself up and becoming more sensitive to energy, becoming more sensitive to my sensations of my awareness, which has been a long time coming. I mean, I still feel like I'm just a baby in this. I'm just fine. I'm not even walking yet. I'm still, I'm making noises. I'm making noises, but I haven't been able to put a word together yet.
Should come on my my program of being a professional medium, and I'll walk you through it. I'll hold your hand.
Maybe I will, Susan. Maybe I will. And I just bring it up because everybody has a different experience of it, and again, how we speak about it may not be. We're using language to try and describe something that is indescribable, and so we're trying to find language to describe it. A sense of knowing that you just know that your team is with you. It doesn't feel like anything. So if they say, where do you feel it in your body? Well, I don't feel it in my body.
Yeah.
But you know that they're there. And so
it's like
you feel that they're there in a different level. And so I just wanted to bring that up.
No, that's really good. And some people call it claircognizance, and I can never say the word, but it is that feeling of just an inner knowing. It's like an inner knowing. Oh, Shannon, you just said it. Thank you so much for that. How do you say it?
Claircognizance.
Thank you.
And then there's clairsentient, which is the feeling. So people that feel things like, and again, it can be internal or external. People can feel energy putting a hand on the shoulder. That's clairsentient. Or if you feel an energy in your solar plexus, that's the clairsentient. If you feel it but don't feel it, that's probably the knowing.
Let's just call it clear knowing. Clear knowing.
Right? That's what I do. Just get rid of all the clairs. It's clear seeing, clear hearing, clear feeling, clear knowing. Simplify it.
Simplify it. Yeah. So the clear knowing is what most people, because they'll come to me and they'll say, I can't see anything, and I can't hear anything, and I don't feel anything. And I'm like, but what do you know? And quite often, if I'm teaching it, I'll say, and what do you get a sense of? What do you feel that person is actually trying to tell you? Oh, well, they're trying to say this, and it's because it's like a telepathy, isn't it? It's like a telepathy. It's like an inner knowing that we feel it. It's hard to find the words, isn't it, to describe it? But it's like, I always say about clairvoyance, it's like, imagine an orange in your mind. So imagine that orange. Everyone pretty much can imagine an orange in their mind, can't they? And that's kind of how spirits show themselves to you, and your guides show themselves to you, especially spirit, actually, especially loved ones. They show themselves like that. So it's almost like an imprint of a picture, rather than actually as I'm seeing you, Daniel. So it's more like that. So when everyone just kind of imagines an orange, it opens the doorway to, I'm opening up that right side of my brain, my intuition. And then it starts to, what else can I see? What else? And that actually is seeing. It's just that we don't know it. And we think we can't see because it's not a tangible thing like this. It's not a tangible pen in front of us. Some people can do that actually, but a tangible item, it isn't like that when you see spirit. It is like an impression.
And there's something that I also want to bring up with regards to, again, speaking about seeing, right? If you imagine an orange, and you know what that feels like, what that experience is, let me use that word, and you know what the experience is of imagining an orange, that's what we're talking about. Whether you see the image, feel the image, hear the image, sense the image, whatever, however that's playing out for you, if you are invited to imagine an orange and you just have a felt sense of, okay, this is what imagining an orange is for me, that's another way that can really get you to start recognizing where is your human and your spirit connection leaning towards, which of these senses is going to be an easier doorway for you to approach.
Yeah, yeah. And Jutta is saying perceiving, and that's perfect. It is a perception. Thank you for that. It is a perception, isn't it? So your perception of what an orange is to you. Yeah. So I might perceive it differently to you, Daniel, and you and everyone here, and you perceive it in a particular way. So you might even be able to see the indents in it and the little green bit at the top, or you might remember the smell of it, or you know, the pith on the outside. You might, you know, everyone's going to feel the perception. Thank you for that, Jutta. That's exactly what it is. It's a perception. Yeah.
And Camille is bringing up the point that we are stronger in one clair than others. Again, it's, you know, we all have a unique way of utilizing our instrument.
And it changes.
And it changes.
And it changes. And I've got a great little 2-second story about that. I was working with a medium, this was many years ago, and he used to see spirit. And one day he said he woke up and he could no longer see spirit, but he could hear spirit. He could hear the footsteps. He could hear the weight of the person. He could hear the energy of the person. And spirit had given him this opportunity to fully trust without seeing, to fully trust. And he still doesn't see. He's still a medium that just hears. But it was so fine. What he could hear was just so amazing. But I do want to say one thing, and I'm being nudged here, so I need to say it. A lot of people think of themselves as an empath, so they are very feeling. They feel other people's energy, they feel other people's emotion. What I found is on this mediumship journey is that as I have healed those parts of me perhaps that needed to be extra sensitive and aware of my environment and so on, perhaps hypervigilant in some cases, as I've healed those parts of me, I now do not feel another's pain. I know it, I'm told it, but I do not feel it. And I think as your journey develops and you bring more light in, let's say, more light into your field, and you let go of the old paradigm, which we talked about at the start, you stop feeling other people's emotions in the same way. So perhaps your abilities change from clairsentience to more of a clair-knowing. And so you may get told the emotion as you're working with someone, or when spirit comes through, say the feeling of it, but you might not feel it. And that I have noticed, it's been like nearly 25 years I've done this work, nearly 30 years actually. I've noticed that the more people heal those parts of them, inner child, bits and pieces in their field, you know, epigenetics, all sorts of stuff, ancestral birthing journeys, as they start to heal those parts of them, their connection to spirit changes. They become much more in tune with the messages from spirit for themselves and their journey and why they're here and their mission. But they also stop being so sensitive to other people's emotions. Yeah? Has anybody felt that? Has anybody actually noticed that their connection has got stronger to spirit as they have healed? And we're on this journey the whole time, right? The healing journey of being here in human. Have they noticed that their intuition has got stronger and they haven't felt so immersed in another's pain or immersed in another's emotions. Yeah, say Jutta, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but Jutta or Jutta, Shannon, yes, Julie's noticed it. Yeah. Oh,
I
so
want,
Julie said, I've noticed it. Yes, thank you for putting it into words. It makes so much sense now. Yeah.
yeah,
And Lena,
I want
yeah.
to add something to this.
Mm-hmm.
Not too long ago, Matt Kahn put out a video. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Um, and he was talking, and he presented an idea that I thought was really neat, which is empaths are feeling the energy of the world so that we can transmute it. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a really nice
Yeah.
perspective and point of view. And what I'm hearing from you, which I hadn't quite connected until you said it, is that as we evolve in our own growth, we find more efficient ways of transmuting energy so that we don't need to transmute it through our emotional experience.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a
And
really
it's no
nice,
longer a match. So it's almost like, we see ourselves as a mirror, and that mirror is out there. So the mirror is held with all of those different frequencies of emotion as well, because we are meant to feel emotion, right? We're meant to
yep.
pass it through our heart, not through our head, pass it through our heart and just let it go. And we forgot that. So as empaths, we hold that and feel it. We don't need to do that. And as we become, I don't really want to say more evolved, but just as we remember more deeply that we are source within and that we are light, and taking off this jacket, we would just be exactly where we need to be. And when we put the jacket on, everything comes with us, with the sum of the parts of all of those emotions and traumas and everything. So we can look at that and say, well, what do I feel when I'm with that person? If you're feeling the pain, if you're feeling the uncomfortableness, I know that isn't a word, but it's one of mine, the uncomfortableness, then look to yourself for that uncomfortableness. And what Matt, I feel, is saying is, perhaps there are some energies in the world that feel uncomfortable, and those energies are reflecting a little bit of you that feels uncomfortable. When you release, and what the guides are linking here is when the fears are no longer there, when we remember that fear is really just nothing. Fear is just a construct of something that we decided one day to be afraid of. And when we release those fears, then there is nothing to hold us in that fear paradigm. So therefore there is no attraction to fear. And yeah, thank you. And then what their guides are saying is, then we see our experience in this new earth, and we no longer see our experience in the old earth. Like, can you hear the tone as I said that? That's when the guides are stepping in and wanting to bring forward something a bit stronger than how I was saying it. And they're saying, as you step into that, your earth and your world transforms into this one that is of a frequency of more light. And so you don't see that anymore. You don't attract that anymore because it is not in your frequency match. Still with no judgment, right? Yeah.
I really like this idea of, as we expand our understanding of who we are and how we relate to the world, the way in which we interpret energy changes. It has to change by
Yeah,
default.
has to.
And so I love this idea as a way of helping people to understand what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
And again, I emphasize there's no judgment here.
Mm-hmm.
If you are one of those people that are very empathic and are feeling the pain of others or the pain of the world, and I'm using that word on purpose,
Mm.
there's a space here for you to learn to identify that that's not yours, and
Mm.
to have a different relationship with it, which will shift your experience. And as you continue to look in that direction of going within to find your own wisdom and to connect with the truth of who you are,
Mm.
that experience has to change.
And also the what I'm hearing, and I feel this is Mother Mary stepping in here, and what I'm feeling is that the sense of the peace within. So as we become more at peace with who we are in this experience that we've chosen, as we become more at peace with it, we no longer feel the pain of the world. So I can look at and I can see what's going on. And, you know, recently in Turkey, we could see that Rhodes Island was on fire, and we knew it was happening, and we could see the helicopters flying over. And yet, as I look at that experience, I see that experience as an experience and not as a painful experience. Does that make sense? So it's kind of, we can look at the world and we can look at everyone in the world because we are all one, right? So we're all sharing this experience. And we have to remember that if something triggers us, it's for us to look at it and say, wow, thank you so much for that. Because that allows me now to find that part of me and to access that part of me that actually created the vibrational match to that pain. And when we can find that, whatever it might be, we can ask for that to be transmuted. And so if we look at the news, hopefully we don't, but if we do watch the news and something triggers within us and we say, wow, that's awful, trafficked children, whatever it might be, and we go, right, okay, thank you so much for that. I transmute that. Healing is instant, but we have to take responsibility for what we are attracting or feeling in this world. It's no one else's job to heal us, and it's no one else's job to tell us what to do. We just have to remember, as Daniel, what you were saying, was as we remember more and more who we are, we have got incredible power within us to heal ourselves. And I think that's what you and myself and many others are holding the space for. So we can heal ourselves, but so others can heal themselves as well. And remember that. The Holy Grail is within and not without.
So there's a lot of beautiful comments in the chat. Thank you guys for sharing. I was wondering if your guides would like to give us a message, a channeled message, if that's something that aligns with.
Let's see. So let's all sit with our hands on our heart, just to be open to hearing whatever we need to hear. So as I connect, I feel that many of the beings are stepping in here with smiles and joy as they connect with us. And what I'm getting the impression of and the sense of is that they are saying that as we see you, meaning us, all of us, as we see you in the perfect light that you are. And as you see you with the flaws and the darkness and the presence of not having everything that you so want. But we see you as pure light, and we see you as already in that experience that you choose, and already in that experience that you prefer. We just know that as you step further into this knowingness, and you step further into this remembering that you are the light of this world, and that you chose to become this experience for others so that you can show the light within you as you see the light within them. As this starts to embody more and more into your humanness that you are, you will see that those items, and we smile as we say this with love, those items that you choose to bring into your free choice human experience will start to show up in your life. However, the more that you push against what you do not have, the more you will see what you do not have. And the more you push against the wall of this experience and you push, the more the wall will seem and perceive to be higher for you. So we invite you to step into your heart every single time you feel a resistance in this human plane of existence that you chose. We invite you to step fully into your heart and follow your breath as you connect with the remembering of the essence that you are and the true light that you are in this world. We see you as you need to see yourself, which is perfection. And we are honored that you chose to step in at this moment, to be the guardians of this earth, and to be the guardians of the light in this world. We wish for you to ask for us, to step in and guide you at all times, for we are just by your side. We are holding your hands. We step in your feet. Your feet are our feet. You no longer need to feel that you are walking this path alone. Dear souls, dear children, we are with you as we always have been and we always will be. And so it is. Okay. They tell me that we are the Palladian Collective. So they told me who they were after they stepped back, and we are the Palladian Collective. That's lovely.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I have to come back to being human for a moment. Oh.
So while you're kind of coming back, again, to people that are listening live, questions, comments, raise your hand. Let us know.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Thank you, everybody.
So I have a question for you. Kind of going back into the topic at hand, speaking from your heart with your guides by your side. What is it that you wanted to share about that?
It is exactly how it is. So when we are connecting, as you noticed, so you invited the question, what would your guides like to share? I didn't know who wanted to come in. I trusted it. I allowed it to come through me, and it comes directly through my heart space. So essentially, when you're living your life, if you are in your heart space of receiving, essentially it's the divine feminine, but if you're a man, it's also the divine feminine. So we are both, we're divine masculine, divine feminine, but essentially we're in our divine feminine of receiving. As we are in that space of receiving, we're bringing it through our heart and sharing that love. Okay, so essentially the reason why I titled our conversation that is that, as we know, and as I've said all the way through, as we know our guides are right by our side, it gives us that almost like that opening and permission to speak freely, because we know that we are not on our own. And the on our own experience is a feeling of separation and a feeling of disconnection, which we never are, but we just feel that sense of disconnection and we're doing it on our own. So when we know our guides are with us and we're not on our own and we remember who we are speaking directly from our heart. And we are not in our mind of, oh, I wonder what that person will think of me. I wonder if I should do that. What do I look like? All that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's in our head and our mind. But when we bring it through our heart, when we know that we are with our guides, we're connected, we always were, and we've remembered. We bring everything through our heart. And I do believe that the new earth, that we're creating together, we're all here creating, this is about everything coming through our heart. And this Lionsgate energy that we're in today, how perfect was that? Actually, that's all about the heart space.
And for people that have no idea what the heart space means.
Good point. Yeah. Well, I do believe that there was a time when we used to run everything through our head. And now when we run everything through our heart, I give you a tangible expression here. If you want to make a decision about something, it's easy to think about it and think, is this the right thing to do? Or if I did that, what would happen? When you drop into your heart, as we did at the start, so placing our hands on our heart, breathing in for 5 and breathing out for 5, it allows us to come into that place which is actually the true wisdom. So yes, we might have intellectual wisdom, but we have even more powerful wisdom within our heart, within our soul, ancient wisdom. And so when we can actually tap into that and bring our hands into our heart, we are actually in wisdom that we have no bounds with. Whereas when we're in our mind, we are in the ego sense of all of the reasons why we should be afraid to do something because of the past experiences. But when we come into our heart, we're connected to divinity and to divine love. And there is no thinking that goes on there. It is just purity. So that would be my long answer to a short question of what is the heart space?
It is an area that I just like talking about because I, for one, had a really hard time understanding what that meant for a long time, and I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I love my intellect. It is a defining aspect of who I am as a human on this planet. And I, again, through spiritual regression, in my womb experience, speaking with my higher self, my higher self, or the soul, sorry, let me be clean with my language. The soul of Daniel ended up tweaking the neurological aspect of my human so that I was even more analytical than the human normally would be. That was on purpose. And so I experience the world through my intellect more so than the average person.
That was me though, Daniel, the scientist, right? Evidence, hypotheses, and I'm still like that. But I do know that the key to actually all the answers is within. Okay.
And so in this kind of connection to the heart space, what does that mean? For those of you that struggle with that, for some people it's really easy and they're like, oh, why are people even struggling with this? It's so obvious. There's others that really struggle with it, and I was one of those people with it. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is again, how do you find that space? You have to find it on your own. And there's a number of different ways that people will say, imagine going down a staircase from your head to your heart, imagine going through a door into this beautiful room, imagine connecting with, so one of the things that really resonated with me was when I look at the beauty of a flower, that recognition is my heart space. That recognition isn't my thought. I interpret the heart through the thought, but that recognition of beauty is the heart space. And that was really helpful for me to start to identify. And eventually within myself, I started noticing, where is my awareness? And I could feel, literally, if I close my eyes and just go within my body and feel where my awareness is, I can feel my awareness being up here. And then I can shift that awareness literally through my body down to around here. And then my awareness changes. My experience of thinking changes.
Yes.
My experience of thinking changes when my awareness is here versus my awareness is here. I'm still thinking. I can't stop thinking. I'm human. And
Yeah,
even in spirit, you can't
you're
stop
still
thinking.
hearing.
You
I
can't
think you're
experience
hearing.
life without thought. It's impossible to experience life without thought. So you can never stop your thinking,
Yeah,
but you can have a different experience of thought.
pure
And
thought.
depending on where
Yeah.
your awareness is focused, you will have a different experience of it. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, and I've got I think you've got the link for the free video course that I'm offering as well as the mediumship class, which we'll talk about. But the free video course, there is several videos on there. One of them is to really connect into the heart and the earth star and the soul star. And another one is to connect with the messages in your body. Another one is to connect with your guides. So there are videos there that people can sit with, and I'll be talking you through. So it's my voice, I'm taking you through it step by step. Sometimes it's helpful for someone to do that with you. The other thing that was really helpful for me when I first started my journey, which was a long time ago now, but I found transcendental meditation. Now, TM doesn't have to be something that you need to go and spend a huge amount of money on learning it. Essentially, what it is having a non-semantic word in your dialogue. So as you are speaking in your mind, in your heart, in your mind, let's say in your mind to start with, and you close your eyes and you're saying this non-semantic word, so a word that means nothing. So it might be something like Shirim, or whatever word comes to you, like Shirim, 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 Shirim. As you do that and you start repeating it over and over and over again, you go out of your thinking mind into a new pure mind. So this kind of takes away from your thinking, and you will have, I need to do that shopping, I need to make a cup of tea, I need to look after somebody, and they will pop in. But as you keep repeating that mantra or that non-semantic word, then it starts to get to the point where you start to kind of drop into meditation. Because I don't know anyone when they start out that can clear their mind. No one. I definitely couldn't. I was so in my mind. So to be able to do transcendental meditation is really, really helpful when you're first starting out. And if you're really in your head or in your worries or in your fear, transcendental meditation is brilliant. Okay, so that's a really good tip for people, and it's where I started, and that opened up, incredible things in my life. Yeah.
And so my path of learning how to quiet my mind came from the three principles and understanding how the mind works, understanding the elements that create our experience of life allowed me to, with that understanding, my mind became quieter effortlessly. The understanding is what does the work. And so we all have our own different paths for getting to where we are. And as I always talk about, is follow what appeals to you, follow what feels right. And if it feels right for now, go with it. And then it can always change a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year down the road. But listen to what the energy is directing of you to stay with it or to shift it.
Yeah, and the same with people that you find that you want to connect with. Some people you might connect with for a year, some it might be 10 years, it might be 3 months, whatever it might be. And it's because the frequency that you need at that time is that soul that's come in to support you. And then that changes, it may change, and then you go somewhere else. And that's just about you really feeling into, and as you said, Daniel, really essentially what lights you up. What lights you up is probably good for you. What doesn't light you up is probably not. That's what I teach my children, my teenagers. If it lights you up, then it's probably good for you. And that's how I get them. They're very fortunate because they're home educated, so they get that chance to choose. But if it lights you up, do it. And what I notice with them is, my daughter is art, focused on art at the moment, And she says, Mom, I really feel like I want to do art. I'm like, go and do art. Get the kitchen table, we'll clear it off. You can do it. And you can see her. And as she's doing it, she's nearly 16. As she's doing it, you can see that she's creating this beautiful piece of art, with mountains and everything. And she's channeling. She doesn't know she's channeling it, but she's literally channeling this beautiful piece of art. That's her happy place. And with my son, it's diving in the ocean, being at one with, scuba diving with Mother Earth in the ocean. That's his happy place. So right now, that's where they are. And I think if you can encourage yourself to find things that light you up, find your soul family, find your community, find your kindred spirits, those people that really light you up, you feel completely comfortable with them, you feel you can be yourself, then you know that those people are right for you. They're part of your soul experience right now. That's what's really important, I think.
Yeah,
alongside
that's
your
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Mm,
So Julie,
yeah.
and again, I'm biased. So my experience with transcendental meditation
Mhm.
is it is a beautiful practice that encourages people to spend more money to go higher in their practice.
That's why I said the thing I said,
Yep.
because it is not about that. I can teach you transcendental meditation in 10 minutes, right? I probably shouldn't say that, but I can. And so basically, and on my mediumship class, I am going to be doing some of that. So literally, I don't believe that you need to spend a huge amount of money on something you already know within.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's really important. I do get you, Daniel. And I think there was a movement in, because it came in kind of in was it the 60s? It was really 60s and 70s was really, really popular.
70s and
And I
80s for me. Yeah.
it's 70s and 80s. Yeah. For me, it was the 80s that I found it. And I remember people saying that in the 70s, actually, it was so expensive to train in transcendental Maharishi Yogi, transcendental meditation. And then it started to get less and less and less. And you're not supposed to share anything about it, but I choose to share it because I know how important it was in my life and how it can really help so many people awaken to that quietness within their heart and within their mind. So
Yeah.
yes, absolutely do not go and spend a huge amount of money on doing classes like that.
But again,
Yeah.
if you feel that that's your direction and you want to spend the money, please
Yeah,
go
sure.
for
But
it. Right. But don't feel like you have to
yeah.
spend the money if that doesn't feel right
Yeah,
for you.
don't
That's the
don't feel
only
like
little
it's the
caution with
only way. Yeah.
It's the only caution that I have with transcendental meditation is historically, and
Yeah.
I've got no idea where it's been since the 80s, but historically it's
Mhm.
the more you pay, the higher you go within their model, whatever that is. So just FYI. Anyway, enough about TM.
Yeah.
So Susan,
Yeah.
talk to us again a little bit about this free course that
Video.
you're offering for people. And again, it's
Yeah.
in the bio of Susan. There's a link there for you to access her free course. So talk about the free course and then talk about the paid for course that you're going to be offering as well.
Yeah, sure, sure. So the free course really is called Awaken the Light Within, similar to my book, right? But it came before my book. And what I wanted was for people to really just dip their toe in the water of being able to connect and ground with themselves, connect with their guides, and to listen to the messages from their guides, but also from the higher self of what the body, the vehicle, is trying to tell you. Because what I found was so many people just needed a little bit of support to open the door to remember who they were. So I created this a few years ago, this video course, and it is, so many people have enjoyed it, and I wanted to give it, as an opportunity for people to experience it as well, to be able to use those videos for themselves. And they're evergreen, so they don't go anywhere after you've, put your little note in with your email. They're yours to keep and yours to use. And then my mediumship class, well, I've been teaching mediumship for a very, very long time. And the guides, whilst I was in Turkey, the second time this year, said to me, I got a download and they said, teach mediumship again. I'm like, oh, okay then, I will. And so I put together, instead of it being a small course of 6 weeks, I decided to put together a 9-week program of professional mediumship. And the reason why I did that was because what the guides wanted was for me to hold people's hands. It's just a small group of 15 people. I just take 15 so I can work with you individually. But it's 9 weeks of actually working together and practicing and utilizing all the tools that I've gained over the years. I'm giving you the best of what I know, but how to deliver messages professionally, how to connect with your gatekeeper guides, how to bring forward evidence of survival for people, and to be able to do it in an accurate spiritual counseling way. Okay, because there was a lot of mediums I've noticed in my world and my life over the years where people have come to me and said, oh, I just was so scared after that, or I was told something really awful. And I'm like, okay, so that's the medium with their own perception on something. I teach people to connect with the truth of the message to come through, and it's an uplifting message. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to that. I decided to put a private session in with it as well. So I decided to offer, as part of this course, time to work with me individually. So you can either use that for coaching for your mediumship, you can use that for your own healing journey, whatever it might be, whatever you would like. And also, one of the things, thank you, I'm being reminded of, is that at the start of the program of the course, which starts on the 19th of September, we're actually going to be healing the blocks to being a medium. And the reason for that is that it's possible that we've had many times before that are imprinted within our frequency, within our cellular level DNA, that we believe will be killed for being a medium, or killed for being a healer, or killed for speaking the word of source or God. And when we're holding that frequency, we resist bringing our guides in, and we resist bringing those messages through because we don't want to be killed this time. Yeah, so, and it's not rational, but it is held as a frequency. And the reason why I know that is because when we do that healing, and obviously I've done this for many years, when we do that healing, I notice that people are able to connect in a different way, and there is a confidence that comes through where they feel, wow, I can really feel that message. I really can see, I really know what I need to bring through. And their connection with their guides gets a lot stronger. So it's really, once you clear that, which is what we start with, is that deep healing. And I do that with you, and we bring the guides in and we clear in the Akashics. It's really fun. And so I really want to do that for people. So if people are interested, Daniel, did Wendy send you the link for that? Yeah,
it's already uploaded in the page.
Great. If you've got that, then and if for some reason you haven't got that, or you can't see it, you just go to my website, which is susankennard.co.uk, and on the front page there's a landing page where you can just see all the information about that class. But it would be lovely to have you, if you feel drawn and ready to really become that professional in the way that you bring forth messages for others. And more we need that. We need people that work from a place of integrity in their heart, because people need to know that their loved ones that pass over are never gone. They're just literally right by our side. And I think that's so important. Yeah, thank you, Daniel, for
Absolutely. So
offering me.
Again, anybody that's listening to this, after the fact, all the information to how to connect with Susan is going to be in the description of this episode. Have it be as a podcast or on YouTube or as a replay, naturally within this platform.
Yeah.
So once again, if you align with Susan in the way that she works, the way she describes things, her connection with energy, her connection with you as a listener, please reach out to her. If you happen to like the way that I ask questions, interact with this energy myself, easiest way to work with me is through the membership. The play link and the website is the easiest way to get to that. And of course, my own website, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the season when it's my turn to talk about myself. So, Susan, always an honor to come and play, sharing the space with you. And anything else that you would like to finish off with?
Just to say that, please come on my YouTube channel, because I created that channel to bring spirit through twice a week. We have a 5-minute frequency tune up every Friday morning where the guides come in and just for 5 minutes spend that time with you, with clearing, with healing, with activations. And then once a week I go live where we bring in many different beings, whatever I get guided to do. And I created that channel many years ago so that I could reach those that perhaps are not in a position to be able to work with Daniel, work with myself or any other person, but they actually can receive healing and that connection, remembering who they are just for that small amount of time. So I'd appreciate if people would join my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Susan Kennard. You can find me. That's my name everywhere. I don't have any other words. It's just my name at this point in time. So you can find me. And I'd love it if you would just, be part of my community there. Thank you so much.
And as Susan is saying this, she shared her YouTube channel with me before at the start of this conversation. So I am literally adding this to the bottom of her.
Thank you.
Bottom of her bio, just so that it's easy for all of you to connect with her. I'm going to take out the streams afterwards and just leave it as Susan Kennard, if that's all right.
That's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
That's interesting. That's not what I want. Okay. So. Okay. Oh, okay. I need to do that. It's doing it differently. Okay. I'll fix it in a moment. So for those of you that are going to be joining us for the next session, we have Sandra Pelly, as I sometimes call Sandra Pelly. She doesn't seem to correct me or tell me which is the way she prefers. So anyway, I call her Sandra. So Sandra Pelly is going to be with us at the top of the hour, and we can continue these conversations. Thank you again all for being here. Susan, honor to have you with me again, as always. Until next time, I will leave you with being spirit, being human, simply being from love. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.